In the spirit of respect, authenticity, and reconciliation, the town of Slave Lake honors and acknowledges that we are situated on the traditional lands of Sawridge First Nation within Treaty 8 territory, home to Indigenous, Métis, and Inuit peoples who have occupied these lands since time immemorial. Councillor Choba.
I'd like to move to adopt the agenda as presented.
Motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Call to question those in favor. And that is carried. Councillor Hughes.
I'd like to move to accept the minutes from July 2nd, 2024, regular meeting of council as presented.
Motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Call to question those in favor. And that is carried. Councillor Gramlich.
Motion to accept the July 9th, 2024 meeting minutes as presented.
Motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Call to question those in favor. And that is carried. Councillor Adams.
I make a motion to accept the committee of the whole meeting, August 13th, 2024 minutes as presented.
Okay, motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Call to question those in favor. And that is carried. Okay, on to reports and new business. First up, we have MRC rink usage and general report. Joe, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have a brief report to make regarding MRC Arena. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. On July 30th, Town of Slave Lake staff met with ICE user groups to have our annual schedule planning session to meet with our local group contacts and go through available ICE time required and desired during the September to March 31st season. That did go well. There's still one group remaining that was not in attendance that I'll be meeting with, or two actually, if you include senior men's hockey. The ice was put back in mid-July with the previous and new sponsor logos added to the ice service and has been well received for the ice quality since it's been put back in. Summer ice rentals should be happy to hear compared to 2023 are up 15%. In part due to new hockey camps renting ice time. This also includes scheduled bookings up to and including the end of August. So that's based on our bookings we have to date. Is coming out of our meetings with our local user groups. One thing that have been identified in the past is a lack of communication between our initial meeting with the people that organize and schedule for those organizations, and the actual coaches and GMs and the different people from all of the teams, for instance, with Slave Lake Minor Hockey. So as part of that, myself and town staff will be meeting with 2 representatives from each team. That's a requirement for those ICE user groups this year, mid-October, to review our new ICE user agreement, talk about communication channels, who to touch base with if there's issues in relation to the arena, and also provide instruction myself to those groups in the community. So that will take place mid-August. Again, a review of the expectations and ensure groups really are familiar with our processes moving forward. Weekly ice availability is continued to be advertised by staff to generate bookings between now and the start of the hockey season. And a new ice rental agreement has been completed and will be used for the 2024 to 2025 season and will be reviewed with teams at the meeting and has been updated to reflect the rates that were approved by council previously to take place and start in September. And also too, in coming months, staff and myself will be reaching out to past partners and tournaments to secure bookings that we've had in the last year or two, and also reviewing those bookings we've had previously that we may not have had the last year or two to try and secure those back at the facility. The sound system being put into the building and the upgrade of the systems there is slated, all the equipment is in Edmonton and is slated for the 2nd or 3rd week in September.
Councillor Adams.
The 15% increase that you're referring to, is that in spite of, or is it adjusted out for the issues we had with the ice?
We did take a look at that. We looked at the downtime we had in 2023 and also included what we would have had for potential bookings, I think, with the 2 user groups at the time during our closure this year. Yes.
So that 15% was factored in, or?
It was factored in, yes.
Councillor Hughes.
You talk about kind of a communication strategy here for future summer ice. Do you have any specific ideas yet on how we can get that increased?
I think
Right.
part of that is tournament and camp attractions. So I think what we would be doing over the fall is taking a look at the camps that have been in areas that are outlying. You know, one or two of the camps that we had, my predecessor did a good job of getting one of the camps that had previously only come as far out of the city as Westlock, and work with them to encourage them to come to Slave Lake. I think there's a finite number of camps that we can attract based on numbers and family holidays and the number of participants in the sport that do like to take the summer off, but it's definitely something that we will be looking to work on and at least develop contacts with those organizations as potential partners moving
Okay.
forward.
Awesome, thank you. I'm happy to hear of your plan. I think just locally with our user groups as well to communicate effectively with them. You talked about the two of you, yourself and a town employee sitting down with them. I think that is great. And I just wanted to comment that I think that method of communication will go a long way. And it's definitely certainly something that I want to see and I think is needed. So I appreciate that you're taking the time to do that.
Thank you. We've had interest this week in some early ice times outside of our operating hours at the moment. In talking to our senior rink staff, they were more than happy at the thought of coming in, working, say, a different shift, say a 6 till 2 or 6 till 2:30 to accommodate that. So that's something we're working towards, being able to accommodate the teams and the organizations that reach out to maybe be able to use the 6:30 to 7:30 ice time Monday to Friday,
Awesome.
where in past that hasn't necessarily been an option.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Joe.
Counselor Mollem? Via video.
Hello, can everyone can hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to, I know part of the supervision of the MRC is right at the front, and I'm trying to wrap my head around finding better usage for the MRC, making sure it's used at all times. I'm wondering if any thought has been put into putting a scanner on that south side of the building, where if you have a paid up membership, you can scan it like a gym and be able to use the field house without having needing someone at the front to let you in or to look at your badge or anything like that, just to make it a little bit easier.
With the size and scope of the facility, probably not. It's not been a conversation I've had yet. I'm open to, as I've said before, examining all options to create more use of the facility. As a son of a lawyer, the first thing that comes to mind is liability in a building in the space that size, a little bit different than your gym environment. Obviously, protocols would have to be set up for users. It's something I'm more than happy to explore and report back to council.
But we do have cameras around there as well, don't we?
We have a small number of cameras. I don't believe so much on that side of the facility. So,
Okay.
I mean, again, that might be part of a larger picture and answer to your question as to what amenities may need to be added if we were to move forward with that type of operational situation.
Okay.
So,
Thanks. I'll just chime in. I just want to say well done to the team and yourself. I know you're new to the team on it. I like hearing the attitude of yes, but we'll have to take a look at it versus an outright no. That makes me happy to hear, we're changing things and maybe that means adjusting hours, adjusting schedules. So that's really positive. I'm happy to see that the sound system is being upgraded because I was there for a tournament and having that not working successfully all the time was, not the biggest crisis in the world, but I think our users will see improvement in that and really also appreciated the overhaul clean that happened this summer and some of the painting that occurred. And I think will be really ready for the hockey season and the users this fall. So just well done overall. And I look forward to seeing what changes will be made as people ask for different things.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Oh, Ali, do you have more questions? Sorry. Just got that.
Sorry, no, just a comment. I did talk to two of my boys were registered in some of the hockey camps that did happen, and they were very encouraged, I think, by the facility that we had. So they were blown away. They had really good numbers. I think speaking to some of the people that were there, a lot of the families would come back to it. So I'd like to see maybe more of that. Maybe that's just something that we didn't even know we had. And yeah, as for the 3 people that brought in those programs, I think they were very happy with the facility, the staff, and the membership that they received at those 3 camps. And I was happy to see like a lot of new faces that weren't familiar to Slave Lake. So it does bring in a little bit of tourism to our community as well.
Mr. Choba?
A motion to accept this information.
All right. Motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Joe. Okay, next report is planning and development fees bylaw 14, 2024. Joanna.
Good evening, your worship and members of council. Tonight, I'm reporting on the planning and development fees bylaw number 14, 2024. So the purpose of this report is for council to review and consider this bylaw. In the spring of 2022, the planning department conducted a comparative analysis of municipal planning and development fees to determine the town of Slave Lake's position relative to other municipalities with similar demographics. The findings presented to council indicated that the town's planning fees were positioned in the mid-range. Consequently, the council opted not to amend or increase these fees at that time. However, in June 2024, a new report was introduced to address barriers to development in Slave Lake, and this report proposed temporary elimination of permit fees for select permits until December 31st, 2025. The council agreed to this proposal and the specific fees were removed as per the resolution that was passed. Looking ahead, the planning department does not recommend any further changes to existing fees except for the introduction of the intermunicipal development plan amendment fee as detailed below. The intermunicipal development plan is a collaborative document between the town of Slave Lake and the municipal district of Lesser Slave River, encompassing the areas where the town and the MD border each other. So recently, the planning department received its very first request to amend the intermunicipal development plan. And it was discovered during this process that under our current application to amend statutory plans section in bylaw number 4, 2024, there is no designated fee for such an amendment. Upon consulting with the MD planning and development team, it was found that their fee for amending their IDP plan is $1,000. This aligns with the town of Slave Lake's fees for similar statutory plan amendments, such as land use bylaw amendments, municipal development plan amendments, or area structure plans. However, since amending the plan involves coordination with 2 municipalities, the combined cost could potentially reach $2,000 or more, which might be prohibitive for ratepayers seeking to proceed with their development projects. To ensure fairness and affordability, the planning department reviewed IDP plan amendment fees charged by neighboring and like municipalities, and the findings were as follows. Big Lakes County charges $500, the MD of Tabor $500, MD 124 $1,000, Whitecourt charges between $1,680 and $1,975. The MD of Greenview charges $1,500. The town of High Prairie, town of Westlock, MD of Opportunity, and town of Peace River did not have plan amendment fees listed in their bylaws. Given the significant costs associated with the $1,000 fee in addition to the fee required by the MD, the Planning and Development Department recommends setting the fee for amending the intermunicipal development plan with the town of Slave Lake at $500. This adjustment aims to reduce the financial burden on ratepayers while maintaining a fair and consistent approach to planning fees. So you could approve the bylaw, which would rescind bylaw number 4, 2024. You could defeat the bylaw, which would mean bylaw number 4, 2024 would remain in effect. Or you could amend the fee amount and give bylaw 14, 2024 required readings. The planning department recommends that council approve planning and development fees bylaw 14, 2024 by giving the bylaw all 3 readings this evening. Any questions?
Councillor Adams.
Mine revolves around communication with the MD. Have we talked to them to see if they would reduce to a like number so that we're charging the same for the same document?
Yeah, I didn't ask them. I asked them what they were charging. It was $1,000 fee, which is in line with all their statutory plan amendments, which is what we're charging currently for statutory amendment plans as well. So
I think that might be something worth addressing with
I
them.
could talk to them about it for sure.
Not that it has anything to do with this bylaw, but I think it'd be worth it.
Councillor Adams.
I'd like to move that the planning and development fees bylaw number 14-2024 receive first reading.
Motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? And that is carried. Counselor Gramlich.
Move that, sorry. Turn my mic on. Move that planning and development fee bylaw number 14-2024 receives second reading.
Motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Call to question those in favor. And that is carried. Counselor Moallem. Oh, that was just delayed, but you're making the motion, so. Unless someone can find it first faster. Counselor Hughes.
I move that council give unanimous consent for the planning and development fee bylaw number 14-2024 to receive third reading.
Motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Jesus. Call the question. Those in favor. And that is carried. Counselor Achoba, yes, please.
I move that the plan and development fees bylaw number 14-2024 receive third and final reading.
Motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Call the question. Those in favor. And that is carried. Thank you. Report 2 for you. All right, on to the next report. Application to amend the intermunicipal plan bylaw 24-2014.
So this purpose of this report is for council to consider bylaw 15-2024 first reading and set the date for the required public hearing to amend the intermunicipal development plan bylaw number 24-2014. So the applicant is Summit Oilfield Servicing. The legal land description is Southeast 373-6 west to the 5th near Mooney Creek in the MD of Lesser Slave River. So they want to redistrict the subject lands from commercial to light industrial to facilitate the development of an industrial shop on this lot and to go with current uses, which camp facility, office and equipment storage that are currently happening there. The Municipal Government Act, in accordance with section 231 of the Municipal Government Act, Town Council must give bylaw 15-2024 first reading and hold the required public hearing prior to passing a resolution. The intermunicipal development plan, bylaw number 24-2014. The subject lands are located within the referral area of the intermunicipal development plan and in accordance with the intermunicipal development plan map, i.e. figure 4.5, maintain a commercial land use designation and as such require a planned amendment. The Municipal Planning Commission will review this application at their September 9th, 2024 meeting, and as such, the recommendation is forthcoming. So this bylaw is introduced to council for first reading to set the date for the required public hearing. Only one plan amendment is required for this application. The landowner would like to develop a shop on site to grow the operation of their business. Historically, these lands were vacant, undeveloped, and were being used as horse pasture, followed by the lands previously housing an industrial camp with a dining hall. The applicant operates an oil field contracting business in Slave Lake and began to utilize this parcel for additional storage of light industrial equipment, including dozers, excavators, piping, steel, pipeline equipment, and a tent shed. The storage use was accompanied by an office trailer to create office security facilities on site. Administration had discussions with the municipal district of Lesser Slave River, who indicated at the time the applicant would likely want to intensify the use of these lands and in the future to industrial application. Both the town and the MD planning and development departments agreed that the applicant or landowner should apply to amend the intermunicipal development plan and the MD's land use bylaw to redesignate and rezone the lands from commercial to industrial when they wanted to intensify the use. As this application is submitted by a member of the public, council must give bylaw 15-2024 first reading and hold the required public hearing prior to passing a resolution with respect to the bylaw. Notice of the public hearing for bylaw 15-2024 will be advertised on the town's website and social media platforms for a period of 2 weeks. In addition, referral letters will be sent to adjacent property owners. At this time, the planning department has no concerns with this application and recommends council give bylaw 15-2024 first reading and schedule the required public hearing for September 10th, 2024. Any questions? I guess you don't speak on questions on first reading.
No, Counselor Adams.
I'd like to move that bylaw 15-2024 to amend the intermunicipal development plan map figure 4.5 of the intermunicipal development plan bylaw 24-2014 by redistricting SE 373-6 west of the 5th from commercial to industrial receives first reading and the required public hearing be scheduled for September 10th, 2024.
Motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Call to question, those in favor. And that is carried. Thanks, Joanna. We have
Joanna.
one more,
More with me.
one more with you.
Yeah.
All you tonight.
Yeah, it's just me. Okay, so I have bylaw 17/2024, which is a bylaw to revise bylaw number 5/2023 in accordance with section 63 of the MGA. So the purpose of this report is to seek 3 readings of bylaw 17/2024, a bylaw to revise bylaw 5/2023 in accordance with section 63 of the Municipal Government Act. So this is a road closure bylaw that came forward as part of the request from some landowners to purchase the town's walkway located immediately adjacent to their residential property. A report was presented to council October 4th, 2022 with the request from the landowners to purchase and consolidate the town's walkway with their residential property. Council moved that administration prepare a road closure bylaw to facilitate the request. I've outlined the process of a road closure here. So the road closure bylaw is prepared. It's presented to council for first reading. Referral letters are sent out. The public hearing is held. The road closure bylaw is then submitted to the Minister of Transportation for approval prior to council giving a road closure bylaw second and third reading. If approved, the Minister of Transportation, if approved by the Minister of Transportation, council may then consider giving the bylaw second and third reading. Road closure bylaw is signed and forwarded to Alberta Land Titles for registration. The landowners are notified that closure is complete, and then the land conveyancing process begins. The Finance Department deals with the sales of the lands, and the landowners consolidate the lands with their residential property. Council gave third reading to bylaw 5/2023 road closure bylaw on February 20th, 2024. Before registering the road closure bylaw, pardon me, with Alberta Land Titles, the description of the lands was checked in July of 2024 to ensure the bylaw would not be refused, which would result in having to restart the process. It was determined that the description on the bylaw number 5/2023 for the walkway was not acceptable for land titles, for Alberta Land Titles, and administration has since engaged a surveyor to obtain an accurate description as shown in bylaw 17/2024 and had it determined it was acceptable to use as a description by Alberta Land Titles. The Municipal Government Act includes specific provisions that enable this type of error to be corrected. Section 63 of the MGA provides that council may, by bylaw, revise a bylaw for certain purposes. Section 63(2)G states that a bylaw under the section may make changes without materially affecting the bylaw in principle of substance. 1, to correct clerical, technical, grammatical, or typographical errors in the bylaw. 2, to bring out more clearly what is considered to be the meaning of the bylaw. Or 3, to improve the expression of the bylaw. The MGA provides that the title of a revised bylaw must include the words revised bylaw, and that the chief administrative officer must certify in writing that the proposed revisions were prepared in accordance with section 63 before the bylaw is given first reading. A copy of that certificate is included with this report. Section 65 of the MGA provides that a bylaw made in accordance with section 63 of the MGA and the resulting revised bylaw are deemed to have been made in accordance with all other requirements of the MGA, respecting the passing and approval of those bylaws, including any requirements for advertising and public hearings. Accordingly, no advertising or public hearing is required for the proposed bylaw that corrects this error. Proposed bylaw number 17/2024 is included as in this report. So section, as stated above, section 65 provides that an amending bylaw passed in accordance with section 63 and resulting revised bylaw are deemed to have been made in accordance with all the other requirements of the MGA. Therefore, no public hearing or advertisements are required. The town will not be required to advertise the road closure bylaw or host further public hearings. Administration requests that council enable the correction of this error by giving 3 readings to bylaw 17/2024. Do you have any questions?
Councillor Hughes.
I move that council give bylaw number 17/2024 a bylaw to revise bylaw number 5/2023 in accordance with section 63 of the Municipal Government Act be given first reading.
Motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Call to question, those in favor. And that is carried. Councillor Adams.
Move that council give bylaw 17-2024 second reading.
Motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Call to question, those in favor. And that is carried. Counselor Gramlich.
Move that council give unanimous consent. Move that council give unanimous consent. Oh, it's written wrong
Yeah.
for third reading. That's why I was screwing it up.
That, any further discussion? Call to question those in favor. And that is carried. Counselor Choba.
Move that council gives bylaw number 17-2024 third reading.
Motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Call to question those in favor. And that is carried. Thanks, Joanna.
Thank you.
Okay, moving right along into question period. Questions, comments, concerns for administration? That is what I was going to follow up from the last meeting. Requested an update on the sculpture on Main Street. This is me miming a sculpture.
The one in front of the, in
Yeah.
front of the one of the credit union?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe we're still waiting on, it's in production with the producer, so we don't have it in our possession here
Okay.
yet. So I believe it's a few weeks out, but
Okay, intention before winter if it
Correct.
gets from the
yes,
manufacturer.
correct. Intention to have it before Thanksgiving, hopefully.
Fantastic. Any other questions? Okay, as I see none, we'll move into State of the Lake. Counselor Moallem, do you have anything virtually?
I do. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Hey, I just want to congratulate the Slave Lake Sharks that went to provincials last week. They received 3 silvers and 1 gold. Mukende Chambert got in the para events, got a silver in the 50 back and 100 free, and a gold in the 50 free. Dawson Taylor got a silver in the boys 13-14 in the 50 back. All swimmers swam amazing, and I just want to send a shout out. I'm so proud of our swimmers and our staff who participated. Darcy Como, who was the head coach, Ethan McLaren, Bree Hoover, Jillian Williams, Kellen Tissink, Grace Auger, Leanne McLeod, and Dawson Taylor. Thank you to all of them, and congratulations on another successful season.
Anything else? Okay, go ahead. Counselor Adams,
Motion going closed.
motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Call to questions in favor. And that is carried. Thank you. Short, sweet. Thanks, everybody.